What's your take on what's going on right now?
Well, I look at it as, as a diversionary tactic, as I said, to let the people in the meantime forget about the ghost projects, about the flood control anomalies. But I would advise Ombudsman REMULLA, if you are listening, you work. Stop conducting press conferences almost every day because you will never know what is really happening in the office of the Ombudsman. Biro mo, hindi mo alam anong proseso sa isang kaso. Eh kung minsan nagmumukhang tanga yung Ombudsman.
Binigyan ho ng free tutorial netong si retired Ombudsman Samuel-Martires, itong si Boying Remulla. Kasi nakikita ho ngayon ng ating mga kababayan, tila bagang hindi alam netong si Boying Remulla kung anong trabaho ng Ombudsman. Yan, maliwanag ha, Boying. Hindi trabaho ng Ombudsman na maya't maya nagpapa-interview. Yung dakdak ng dakdak sa social media at mainstream media. At nandito rin ho pala itong si former Senate President Franklin Drilon. Pero bago yan, isa like at subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community. Yung join button, nandiyan lang ho sa baba. Wala ho tayo maraming pag-uusapan dito sa video na to. Re-recta ho kagad tayo dyan sa napakalupit na interview nitong si Atty. Trixie Cruz Angeles. Dito kay retired Ombudsman Samuel-Martires at dito kay Senator Franklin Drilon. Ika nga, pag-usapan ho natin yung mga maiinit na kaganapan sa mga nakalipas na linggo. Kaugnay ho doon sa kesyo gustong buhay ng Ombudsman na problema laban dito kay Senator Joel Villanueva. At syempre, yung ika nga, walang kamatayan at hindi na ho natin pwedeng patayin na issue ng mga maanomalyang flood control project. Heto na ho. Huwag na ho natin patagalin to. Ika.
Sammy. I would prefer to be called Sammy.
Justice Sammy.
Justice Sammy.
Yung mga katwiran po nung inyong dismissal, I think are fairly plain. No? Essentially, can you just reiterate the grounds for the dismissal of, or the reversal of the decision of Justice Chit Carpio Morales?
From the very start, Senator Joel Villanueva has already raised the defense that the one who requested for the PDAF is the Buhay Party List.
Right.
And the signature in the Buhay Party List letter is where the findings of the National Bureau of Investigation a forged signature, not the same signature as the one of Joel Villanueva. These defenses were disregarded by then Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales.
Nako!
The decision of
Dilawan yun eh. Kailangan nilang magkaroon ng fall guy doon sa issue ng dapat sa kapidap. Karamihan nung kasi ng mga involved doon kasangkot din sa administrasyon nitong si Panot. Kaya kailangan merong isa sa lineup nila o kabaro nila ang ibenta nila dyan sa issue na yan. At ang napili nila noong mga panahon na yun walang iba kung hindi itong si Senator Joel Villanueva.
Carpio Morales came about towards the last week of October.
In 2018?
In 2016.
2016, right.
2016. When I was appointed in 2018, after an inventor of the cases, I found out that there was this pending motion for reconsideration. So I requested the Bureau concerned to immediately act on that motion for reconsideration, which they endorsed to me sometime in July of 31 of 2019.
Right.
On September 13, I approved the recommendation of the Bureau to dismiss or to grant the motion for reconsideration of Joel Villanueva.
The first question, Justice Sammy, was that when was the motion for reconsideration filed? I heard you in one interview, you mentioned that you assumed that it was timely filed. But would you have an exact date when the motion for reconsideration was filed by Senator Joel Villanueva? I
was told and sent a copy actually by the first page of the motion for of the resolution. It appears that Joel Villanueva filed his motion for reconsideration within the 10-day period to file a motion for reconsideration. Because there are two periods in the Ombudsman. 5 days when it comes to criminal cases and 10 days when it comes to administrative cases.
And this is an administrative case?
This is an administrative case.
Senator Drilon, you've gone through this. You've been a senator for so long. So how do you view the whole...
Well, firstly, I haven't seen the decisions, and therefore, if I comment, it is only on the jurisdiction of the Ombudsman. It is very clear that under our Constitution and the Ombudsman Act, the Ombudsman has no jurisdiction over members of Congress.
Boying, makinig ka, makinig. Kaya pala hindi niya pinadala sa Dahig, Netherlands itong si Senator. Hindi, kala ko susugod na eh. Kala ko ipapadala na sa Dahig eh. Sen Joel, huwag ka masyado maglilipad ha. Pero huwag ka maglala, wala. Ito eh, galing dito mismo kay former DOJ Secretary Franklin Drilon, former Senate President Franklin Drilon, na walang jurisdiction. Kaya nagmamadali itong si Boying na ipakuha yung papel tsaka ballpen eh. Susulatan niya daw eh. Kasi walang kapangyarihan ang ombudsman laban dito sa mga senador na to. Sila lang ang pwedeng makapagtanggal sa mga sarili nila.
You may not like that rule, but that's the rule in our Constitution, that members of Congress can only be questioned in the Senate or in the House.
What are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I am not suggesting anything. That's the reason why the Senate at the time did not favorably act on the recommendation or on the dismissal order, because the legal counsel of the Senate, in a memo, said that they have no jurisdiction over senators. And I think Tito Soto was then the majority leader and brought this before the plenary. And indeed, as a lawyer, when I was reading the Constitution, really, the Ombudsman has no jurisdiction over senators and Congress. Having said that, it is clear that the Senate has not acted on this. The issue has not been brought to the Senate on the merits as to whether or not there is a basis for the malfeasance charge of Villanueva. Sad to say, we are not bound. I mean, that's really sad. But we are not bound by what the Ombudsman says. We have our own proceedings. A case can be filed before the Senate today. As Justice Carpio said, there is no, Tony Carpio, there is no prescription insofar as the grounds insofar as the Senate is concerned. Now, the issue as to whether or not, these offenses were committed, allegedly, during the time that Senator Binuking was still a congressman.
Right.
And therefore, it can be asserted that having been elected as a senator, the alleged offenses committed before he became a member of the Senate was abolished by the fact of his election to the Senate. This is the Aguinaldo Doctrine,
Which has been vacated.
Abandoned,
yes.
And for the benefit of our audience, Aguinaldo pertains to Governor Aguinaldo of Cagayan,
That's right.
who was subject of a disciplinary action, but raised the issue of his having been re-elected as governor of Cagayan, and the court in the first line of cases said yes, that's why there is the so-called Aguinaldo Doctrine, but which subsequently was vacated. So now the issue is the question: can somebody bring a case against Joel on the basis of that incident? My answer is yes. The issue of whether or not the Aguinaldo Doctrine is still applicable is a matter that would be put on the table. But the decision will be up to the Senate. And they will be deciding on the basis of the case filed directly in the Senate and the evidence presented in the Senate, but not on the basis of the Ombudsman's decision. Because, correctly, the Ombudsman, with all due respect, has no jurisdiction over senators and
Agreed. Just to clarify.
Hoy, Boying! Boying, ano na? Pambira ka, bida-bida ka kasi. Ang problema ko kasi kay Boying Remulla Sulat ako. Buhay niyang, labang kay Joel Villanueva. Kaya pala itong si Conchita Carpio Morales, ang nagawa lang niya, sulatan yung, yung kung sino man ang Senate President noong mga panahon na yun. Kasi walang jurisdiction. Ang ombudsman, yung mga impeachable government official, hindi pala impeachable, yung mga hindi impeachable government official. Kasi pati yata yung mga impeachable, sa impeachment lang yung pwede tanggalin. Pero pwede daw siya imbestigahan. Kumbaga, yung investigasyon na gagawin, para yun ang gamitin sa impeachment trial. Talaga si Boy hindi lang magaling mag-bend ng law. Magaling pang yung dinadivert nila yung attention ng mga kababayan natin. Ngayon, tapos na kay Senator Joel, na kuryente siya doon. Ano na naman kaya kabalbalang maiisip nitong si Boy Remulla? Abangan lang natin.
Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales sent a copy of the decision to the Senate in 2016, to which the Senate replied that they have no jurisdiction.
And that Ombudsman has no jurisdiction.
Yes, the Ombudsman does not have jurisdiction, and therefore no further discussions on the case were conducted.
That's correct.
So if the case were again brought up, wouldn't Senator Villanueva just simply raise the same issue of jurisdiction?
No, because now what will be discussed will be the merits of the malfeasance. The jurisdiction will no longer be questioned.
Yes.
I repeat,
I agree.
the reason why the Senate did not implement Conchita Carpio Morales' decision, even if it was correct, the reason why we did not act on it is because of lack of jurisdiction. And the four of us here are lawyers. No matter how brilliant or good you are, if the court has the jurisdiction, the court has the jurisdiction. Period.
Yes,
But just to be clear, but the acts were committed when he was still a member of Congress.
That's right.
Specifically the House of Representatives.
That's right.
Now you're taking jurisdiction because he's already a senator, but the acts were committed when he was House. Are you still saying that you can
I am
invoke
not
jurisdiction?
saying that. What I'm just saying is it can be litigated before the Senate as a body. Initially with the Committee on Ethics, and the arguments be raised in the Senate as to whether or not he is still liable for the acts committed while he was a congressman on the basis of the Aguinaldo Doctrine, and whoever will file a case against him will argue that the Aguinaldo Doctrine is no longer applicable. All I'm saying is that the case of Villanueva can be tried on the merits in the Senate. It has never been tried there. Now, the merits include the matter of whether or not the Aguinaldo Doctrine applies. That's basically what will happen. So that the issue of whether or not the Ombudsman had jurisdiction or has jurisdiction is a settled issue. In other words, the Ombudsman has no jurisdiction, but the Senate as a body has jurisdiction under the Constitution and under the Constitution over members of Congress.
Sir Sam, what is this matter of a secret decision? Is there such a thing as a secret decision? We all know that there are certain decisions that are published. The Supreme Court publishes its decisions.
All decisions are published. That's it.
Yes.
No, but there are also minute resolutions, Justice Sami,
Yes,
which are not. Those are the. I think I remember Justice Sami saying in his statement that there are Supreme Court decisions that are not published. Tama ba?
Yes.
Unpublished.
Unpublished. And I think you are referring to minute resolutions po ba?
Not just minute resolutions. Not all decisions of the Supreme Court goes into the EX.CRA or the Philippine reports.
Yes.
Or are published in EX.CRA.
But doesn't mean that if it doesn't go to the EX.CRA or to the SCRA, it's not public. I mean, the publication is through SCRA and through, but I think all
online,
decisions are published in the General Records or GR.
Yes, in the GR.
In GR, yes.
So how I think the first person to describe it as secret was either Ombudsman Boy or the other.
Actually, what really happened is in the chronology of events, Ombudsman Remulla was saying that he will request the Senate President to implement the dismissal order issued by Carpio Morales.
And this was because he didn't know that there was already an existing reversal order.
But then when somebody told him that that order was already reversed in a motion for reconsideration that was granted by Ombudsman-Martires, he suddenly shifted and said, that is a surprise or a secret decision that he just saw on my table. Of all cases, this is the only decision that fell on his table. There are other decisions that I issued, that I signed, that didn't fall on his table. And besides, if just the motion for reconsideration was given to him, why didn't he ask the records of the case from the Central Records Division? Why must he say that there is a secret decision? That is the reason why I am actually becoming violent in my talks, in what I say. Because it connotes that an anomaly or irregularity was created. He further said, the only ones who knew about the resolution of the Ombudsman is Ombudsman-Martires and Joel Villanueva. That is not true. That is an insult on the investigating officer who made the recommendation to her director, who likewise recommended that to the assistant ombudsman before they forwarded it to the office of the ombudsman.
Okay, medyo umiinit na si Justice Sammy, medyo ano siya, no? Kita mo yung kanyang vigor. And I saw FMD also put out his ballpen. Talagang magkakaroon tayo ng magandang pag-uusap. So, we'll take a break first. The spokes will come up later.
Oh. Ano na ho, forward na ho natin. Medyo mabigat-bigat ang usapan dito kasi malulupit na abogado ho nandito sa ano na to, dito sa video na to. Tuloy natin. Ako, yan na.
Welcome back. You're watching The Spokes. So we're talking about the decision of, the controversy around the alleged secret decision. So, nasabi nyo nga ho na nag-umpisa to dahil kay Ombudsman Remulla. Pero dito po sa, I saw your statement, Justice Sammy, where you, I just want to clarify certain things. No? Like, there was a statement you made that you're saying, kasama sa people are public officials. You're concerned about the future of the public officials. But if I recall, our Constitution was very clear, no? The Ombudsman, being the protectors of the people, shall act on complaints of public officials. So there's a clear demarcation between people and public officials po. So medyo parang may inversion po nung idea, the definition of people doon eh.
Well, people will refer people as a whole.
Right.
But we're talking here of the fight against graft and corruption.
Right.
So we have to protect the people from corrupt government officials.
Correct.
Okay? So yun ang sinasabi ko. But in my own context, I just don't have to protect the rights of the people, the complainants. I also have to protect the rights of the respondent.
But the rights of the respondent are already covered by the due process. I mean,
yes.
as an ombudsman, you have to ensure that due process notice, lahat po ng kailangan sa due process are already there. So,
yes.
Once you've made sure that the process was fair, that due process is already satisfied.
Actually, I made that statement in relation to the question that why am I not publicizing? Why am I not talking about it? Why should I talk about a case where I am not sure whether on the guilt of the accused? Remember that our role is only to determine probable cause for purposes of filing an information.
But this was a reversal. This wasn't the case going further to the Sandigan Bayan. So my question is, for instance, if somebody's case was reversed, I should be happy, and there shouldn't be any reason why you should not release. Because I recall, in the case of Secretary Jun Abaya, it was a decision that you made under your administration, under your term as ombudsman in November 2020.
Yes.
It came out in January 12 of 2021. In fact, because I knew it because Jun Abaya told me that, and it was published also, media carried that news here. None of the media was able to catch it. You've already dismissed reversed the decision. That's my discomfort because on one hand, you release the reversal order of Junabaya. In this case, you did not publish the reversal order of Senator Joel Villanueva.
No, in the case of Abaya, I did not have it published.
But it was reported in the news.
It was the reporters who got a copy of the decision.
Correct.
In the case of Villanueva, I was asked actually by the Media Bureau, are we going to publish this? I said, no.
Why not?
Why not? If I publish it, if I talk about it, sasabihin ng tao, kinakatigan ko si Joel Villanueva. Okay? Kinakampihan ko si Joel Villanueva. At the time I signed, I approved that resolution
Yes.
granting the motion for reconsideration, hindi ko kilala si Joel Villanueva. The first time I met him was in the Senate during the budget hearing. I don't know Joel Villanueva. Kaya lang, pag binigyan ng kulay, di ba? In masisemi ngayon, yung secret decision, binigyan ng kulay eh. But haven't you noticed that I am now the flavor of the month? And the flavor of the month before was flood control projects,
Yan,
ghost
nako.
projects. Nakalimutan na natin yon. The flavor of the month was the trillion
Secret
peso
decision.
march.
Yan.
Nakalimutan na ng
Nakalimutan
tao.
na.
Hindi pa naman po.
So is this not a way to divert the attention of the people? You know?
Senator Drilon, what do you think of this whole thing as a final wrap-up on what is your take on what's going on right now?
Well, I look at it as, as a diversionary tactic, as I said, to let the people in the meantime forget about the ghost projects, about the flood control anomalies. So divert it to the secret decision, which there is no secret decision. The secret decision is just, yung bukang bibig lang ni Ombudsman Remulla. But I would advise Ombudsman Remulla, if you are listening, you work. Stop conducting press conferences almost every day because you will never know what is really happening in the office of the Ombudsman. Biro mo, hindi mo alam anong proseso sa isang kaso. Hindi mo alam kung bakit nagkaroon. I do not blame Justice Carpio Morales na hindi niya alam yung motion for reconsideration. Why? Once a motion for reconsideration is filed, the Ombudsman is not informed. The Records Division sends that motion for reconsideration together with the records immediately to the handling hearing officer, the one who issued the decision. Unless the hearing officer, his or her director, and his or her assistant ombudsman will tell the ombudsman, doon lang malalaman ng ombudsman. In my case, there are a lot of times when reporters would ask me, Justice, what happened to the motion for reconsideration filed Mr. X? Mayroon ba? So hahanapin ko yung kaso, I will ask them. Even cases that are filed, hindi alam ng ombudsman yon. Kaya kung minsan nagbumukhang tanga yung ombudsman.
Nako.
Kaya kung wala kang gagawin, press con ka na mag-press con, wala ka talaga maalalaman sa ombudsman ko nung... Now, why is it...
Wala kasi presko na presko, boying. Para kang marites eh. Hindi pong pagka mayroong nalaman, kailangan mabilis pa sa alas 4, dinadaldal niya sa social media. Pag-aralan mo munang maigi para hindi ka nakukuryente. Di ba?
Na sinasabi niya, bakit hindi alam na ibang grupo yung existence ng motion for reconsideration? Dahil yung ginagawa ko, hindi dapat malaman ni Atty. Trixie. Why? Baka pag nalaman ni Atty. Trixie, ibenta yung ginagawa ko. All Atty. Trixie has to do, if my recommendation is favorable to the respondent, look for the respondent and tell the respondent, gusto mo manalo sa kaso mo? Bigay ka lang ng 20 million. It happened several times. Bigay ka lang 20 million, ako nang bahala kay ombudsman. Bigay ka 20 million, wala namang kaalam-alam yung ombudsman. Ang delikado lang doon, which happened in one case, ni-reverse ng ombudsman yung recommendation ng investigating officer, yung findings. So medyo may nagbalik ng 25 million doon sa kasong yon. This is a case somewhere in Batangas, Yun ang nakakatakot doon. So hindi po pwedeng sasabihin mo yung ginagawa mo eh. Otherwise, mabubukulan ka.